Hey y'all, John here from Second Chance Composting. How you doing today? So today I'm going to do a review of the Diamondback tipper that we had installed onto our dump trailer. Um, at first we used to do everything by hand, lifting these totes in and out of the truck, in and out of the trailer. We used to ramp them up, ramp them down, lift them in, lift them out, get back on site, empty every one of them individually by tipping them over by hand, and then rinse them all at the end. So this was kind of the system that I wanted to get from the very beginning. Um, just needed to take the time and money and have the equipment to do so. So again, this is Diamondback tipper. This company is from North Carolina, and there's some similar ones that are made by a company called Perkins that you can find online. We decided to go with Diamondback because we were recommended them by another composter in Vermont that we have a lot of respect for, and think they run a really good system, and he let me know about this particular company. The guy at a place called Black Dirt Farm, Tom is his name, he's the one that recommended the Diamondback to us. So they're in North Carolina, and it was a very simple system as far as they build these and they install them. So the Perkins, we were going to have to order the parts, have all of it shipped to us, the hydraulics, the tipper itself, the wiring, all that. And then I had to, and Diamondback did all the fab work, the metal fab on the trailer. It's kind of dark from that angle, but you can see it. There you go. They did the metal fab on the truck to get all this stuff installed. So I would have had to have somebody locally metal fab all that together, get the hydraulics in, do all that work, install this box. I mean, they did all that at Diamondback. So it made more sense for us to go, bring our trailer down there, get it all done, and come home and have it be done instead of waiting 6 months, 8 months at the time. I think somebody quoted me about 6 months. Another person quoted me like 4 months or something like that in order just to get in and get the job started. As far as I would have to order the Perkins stuff, then get somebody locally to do it. 4 months just waiting to get it in the shop to have it done. So I'm patient, but that didn't make any sense. So let me tell you about this thing. Diamondback is in North Carolina. So what we did is we drove the trailer down to North Carolina, stayed over 2 nights. They worked on this thing for 2 days and had it installed, and then we came home. It was worth it for us to take the drive. It was a long drive, but again, we came home with a finished product. And again, they produce these, manufacture them, and they install them. And they do all sorts of custom work. So a big part was finding out the height of our tipper or of our totes so that the bar would fit. So we were pretty particular, back and forth a lot with the team there, make sure that we had this thing on. It was going to be on the right height. You have to measure the height of where your bar is on your totes to make sure you're going to match up with the tipper itself. So a lot of back and forth pictures, measurements with them beforehand, make sure everything was right. The team there is great to work with, very friendly, very helpful. They get right back to you even after the install, not just because they're getting your money. I'd work with them again in an instant. They were really great to work with, explained everything. They gave us a tour when we were down there. Very helpful people. That Southern charm too. They're in North Carolina. I think I mentioned that like 6 times already. So let me show you how this thing works. So basically you come to your site, and as long as this is level ground, this isn't level ground right now because I have the trailer up and I'm on the dirt here, but basically you bring your material over. We don't ever have to lift them, but I'm gonna have to lift this one a little bit. So
it sits on the lip up there. You can't really see it there. And then as you go up, that's gonna grab that bar right there.
And all you have to do to go up is press this button. I mean, my 4-year-old does this sometimes. So just gonna press that, it lifts, goes up, tips it in. Simple. Now those are full of food scraps usually. So it holds on to it, and then you do whatever you have to do. So I have a pressure rinse system out of the back of the truck. I don't have it in right now, but I have a pressure washer that I bring with me. So we just pressure wash them from there. You see this big black guard here, this plate? That's not standard. I'm gonna bring this thing down and show you why this is really important. So all you have to do is press the button down. They installed this thing backwards, upside down. Not a big deal, I could easily flop it. It's just a matter of changing those out. I've never done it. And Tom from Black Dirt has his installed over here, which I wish I had done, because then as you can tip and rinse at the same time. I can still reach this one while standing up there, but just barely. So I wish we had this installed a little bit further. That wouldn't be a hard fix though. So that's how it works. We use 32-gallon totes, has no problem lifting those up even when they're full, and I can use 48-gallon totes as well. The 48s can be full as well. It's just much heavier and much more work on the tipper, but if you're going to use 64, I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think the weight is okay for that. So the plate, as you can see, this where the orange is up to about here, this is like the standard. I think even behind here, let's see here. Yeah, you can see the orange there. That's the standard tipper. This black plate has been a game changer. Luckily, Tom told me, make sure you get the plate put on there. We could have had one added on after, but if we didn't have that on there, food scraps would be falling back all the time. So we lift this up, they'd be starting to fall back and off possibly, right about there. And then when they got up in there, let me show you. When they got up in there, there'd be no guard to help them scoop in. So this thing helps them all come in. So if you're doing this for food scraps, definitely get the additional guard or plate, whatever you want to call it. If you're just tipping recyclables or trash, you don't need it, because you'll probably have everything bagged. But we couldn't do without it. There's a bunch of grease points here. We grease it every now and then. We got it on schedule. Never had a problem with that. They installed, again, all this wiring, all this stuff. They installed this box itself. They put that on there. I'll come back to that a little bit. And then the wiring, they put all these pipes and covers in. It goes underneath, goes around to the battery box. So this is the hydraulic fluid and the pump itself. I haven't had to do any work on this. I think I've had this thing a year and a half or so. And they built this custom box for us. So another thing that they wanted to make sure, and it just goes on with screws. Let me show you that. Put on some wing nuts here. Simple. Actually, I did a video of this a video earlier, a couple days ago, where I was reviewing this, that I didn't like how it came out, because I hadn't opened this thing in so long that I had to go get the WD-40 and the wrench to get it off. So it's not watertight. This thing's not perfect. This little piece here popped off. It's not perfect, but it holds it in and gets the job done. So let me show you here. This thing's been great. There it is, Diamondback products. And you can get these installed, wherever you want them. They told me there was a guy that had one installed at the front of his trailer and then one at the back. And he had something in the middle that he put in. And one side he was doing recyclables and the other side he was doing trash, which is pretty cool. This thing's been great. We have had some issues, not really with the system itself. The equipment itself has been fine, but here's where we ran into problems. This is where everything connects. So they wire all this in. Some of these wires, like this blinking orange light, that's something we added. But this was all here. They asked me before I went if I had room in there to fit. They would have liked to put the pump directly in there, but I didn't have room, so they built that custom one. But depending on your setup, you might have more room. We had issues with this thing as far as the battery dying out on us quickly. The first 6 months we were fine, but we weren't tipping that many totes. And then winter came, and we had issue after issue after issue with this. Not really the tipper itself, but not getting enough juice to tip. It would just start dying out, not even halfway through our day. And then we had to lift these things by hand, which was ridiculous. This thing cost between $8,000 and $9,000 installed, turnkey, go home, it's all set. And that was a couple years ago. It's probably more now, obviously, but it was really worth it for us. So the issue is, even though you're getting juice from your truck when this is plugged in here, I was thinking that was going to give us enough to make it work, but it doesn't. And another common problem is not just with dump trailers, but with dump trailers, is we're lifting the body of the dump itself. That's running off the battery. So we had, week after week, we replaced that connection. We tried to, a fuse blew, so we fixed that. We're like, okay, that's what it was. Then it was like, then we replaced that, and then because it kept happening. So then we replaced that. That didn't work. Then I got a new battery. That didn't work. Then I got another new battery. That didn't work. Then we started charging everything the day before we left. That didn't work. Then I started taking everything inside the batteries, leaving them warm, charging them, and that would get us a couple tips. So definitely not working properly in the winter. It was very, very frustrating last winter. And then this summer we were pretty good, and then at the end of the summer it started doing it again. It would just start dying out, and I was charging I was bringing 3 batteries with us just in case backup. We couldn't figure it out. We were like, it's getting power. We tested to make sure it was getting the right amount of amps coming in and all that, or volts. Not an electrician. And finally I YouTubed it, which I should have done from the beginning, and I found out that that's a very common problem with dump trailers, that they can only lift so many times, especially if they have a lot of weight. They'll just die, and the fact is that you're not getting enough power from the truck, even though it's connected to the truck. It's not giving you enough to keep replenishing that battery throughout the day, even if it's plugged in and keep the truck running, because we've kept the truck running, tried all of it. None of it worked until I found this thing called the Boss by Perky's. This is a DC to DC charger. I'm going to do a totally separate review on this, and that light is part of the DC to DC Perky's Boss. It's been a game changer. We put it on a month ago, and we've not had to stop and take the battery out and replenish it since. We still charge it before we leave for the day, but we're not. There was a week we replaced this battery 3 times with new batteries, and they kept dying, and we just couldn't do our job. We were waiting around for hours. So this thing is a game changer. It charges your battery as you go from your truck, so you don't have to worry about it. So with that, this thing is golden. I'm going to shut that. This thing's golden now, and we're very happy with it. I would buy it again. Again, they made it very easy. Go down, have it done, go home. Simple. great people to work with, easy to maintain and take care of. There's, like I said, there's a bunch of grease points, but not that many. It's made us go from loading the trailer up with 20, 30 of these in the morning, having to have double the amount of totes because then you got to swap them out when you get to the place, to being able to just tip on site at a restaurant, at a hotel, at a school, whatever it may be, business, rinse it, and then just leave the tote behind. So we doubled our totes overnight when we got this. And totes themselves, for 40 totes, you're talking a couple grand right there. So that paid for itself pretty quickly. It was very frustrating that first year, but now that I got this Boss by Perky's charger on there, I think we're going to be good. So again, Diamondback out of North Carolina, very happy with this system. It allows us to haul a lot of material at once. I can get this thing, I've outfitted this to be watertight, so the only thing is it tips into that one spot, and after a decent amount of stops, you've got a big mound up front, and you've got to tip back the whole thing to let it roll back. Not a big deal, but that would kill the battery as well, but it doesn't anymore. So yeah, we can get a lot of material in less trips, because we have such high capacity with this dump trailer. So again, it's a system that I wanted since I saw it. I think it's one of the best systems for composting, especially if you're into rinsing your totes for your customers. I'd recommend it. I loved that we could just go down, have it be done, and come home. And it was going to be a comparable price to have the Perkins tipper sent to us and then installed. It was going to be much more of a headache because then you're dealing with all these different people. I didn't know if the welding people could do the hydraulic stuff, so I didn't want to have to deal with all that. The team, they cut all this in, just get your measurements right, connect with them. They're easy to talk to. You can go back and forth with the sales team there pretty easily. This guy's name is Matt, and they'll get you hooked up. And again, very happy with this thing. I don't know what model this is off the top of my head. They make a few different ones, different sizes for different weights, but know your weight, know your height, know what you want to do. And this thing's a game changer for us. And really at this point, we couldn't run our business without it. We're able to pick up what others, in one day, what would take others 4 or 5 trips, because of the amount of capacity we can fit in this dump trailer, thanks to that tipper. So it makes for a very efficient day as long as it's running, but do not get this without getting some sort of charging system for the tipper, because that battery is running this tipper and it's running the battery. The battery is running the dump trailer up and down as well. So definitely get a system in place for that. Otherwise, you're going to run through headaches. I'm telling you, months, over a year. But every week last winter, every week there was an issue. Every single week, we could not figure it out. We kept trying this, kept trying that. We're trying to narrow it down. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. Maybe the truck's not. Finally, this summer, it worked pretty good. And then after charging the batteries, bringing 3 of them with us in case now, with that Perkins in there, we've gone a month. And the first week we had an issue with it lifting, but it ended up doing it, and then the whole rest of the day it was totally fine. So recommend it. Very happy with it. Yeah, please like and subscribe. Any comments, questions, let me know. I think that's really it. We're really impressed with it. I love it. It's really nice to roll this up. You just roll it up there. You don't have to lift it on or anything. You just kind of pull that up a little bit and pop it, and then it grabs it and just lifts it right for you. So again, questions, comments below, go for it. Please like and subscribe. John from Second Chance Composting. We do all sorts of composting videos, equipment reviews, follow our business from day one until now. We're 4 years in now. Learn from our mistakes, see what works, what doesn't work, the good, the bad, everything in between. Happy composting, everybody.